Before the Islamic world existed, there was only desert, endless sand beneath a merciless sun. Scattered tribes wandered these lands worshipping their own gods, locked in endless feuds. Water was scarce, life was brutal, and death came early to most who walked these burning wastes. Then came a voice that would change everything, echoing from a cave above Mecca in Arabia. A merchant named Muhammad received a revelation that would reshape half the planet within a century. The angel Gabriel spoke words that would be written in the Quran and memorized by millions forever. Within a century, an empire rose from the sands larger than anything the world had ever seen before. From the Atlantic to the Indus River, one faith united kingdoms that had warred for millennia. Stay with us for 1,000 years of the Islamic world, 15 minutes and a dozen empires. From desert warriors to philosophers, from golden ages to devastating falls and impossible rises. It begins in 610 in Mecca, where caravans trade frankincense and myrrh along ancient routes. Muhammad returns from his retreat on Mount Hira with a message: there is one God and all are equal. The old powers of Mecca hate this idea because equality threatens the tribal hierarchies of Arabia. They drive him out in 622, forcing him to flee under cover of darkness to save his own life. But he doesn't vanish into obscurity like so many failed prophets who came before him. He goes to Medina, builds an army of believers, and returns victorious just 8 years later. Mecca falls without a fight as the tribes that mocked him now bow in submission before God. Within 2 years, Muhammad is dead, his body laid to rest in Medina beneath a simple marker. But the idea refuses to die with him, and his followers choose Abu Bakr as the first caliph. Arab warriors explode out of the Arabian Peninsula like a storm no one saw coming from the desert. They take Damascus in 634, defeating Byzantine armies that outnumber them 3-1. Jerusalem surrenders in 637, and Alexandria falls in 641, ending Greek rule over Egypt. Persia collapses in a decade as the mighty Sassanid Empire crumbles before the Arab advance. By 650, the caliphate stretches from Spain to India, over 3 million square miles conquered. No conquest in history has been faster or more total than this unstoppable wave from Arabia. But empires built on speed often crack under their weight, torn apart by ambition and rivalry. The caliphs split into factions, with Sunni against Shia over who should lead the faithful. Arab against Persian, as new converts demand equality with the original believers from the peninsula. Yet somehow the world they built doesn't fall apart into warring fragments competing for power. It transforms into something greater and more magnificent than anyone could have imagined. Baghdad rises in 762 on the Tigris, and with it, a golden age begins unlike any the world had seen. Caliph al-Mansur chooses this spot for its access to trade routes from China to Africa. The Abbasid Caliphate makes this city the richest on earth within a single generation of rule. Over 1 million people live here, by 800 more than Constantinople or any city in the known world. Streets paved with brick stretch for miles in a circle around the caliph's gleaming palace. Markets sell silk from China, spices from India, glass from Damascus, and ivory from Africa. The scent of cardamom and grilled lamb fills the air as scholars debate in shaded courtyards. The House of Wisdom opens in 830 as a library and research center without equal anywhere on earth. Scholars translate every book they can find into Arabic, preserving knowledge the world had forgotten. Greek philosophy, Persian astronomy, Indian mathematics, and the revolutionary concept of zero. But they don't just preserve knowledge like monks copying texts in dark European monasteries. They build on it, push it further, and revolutionize every field they touch with new discoveries. Al-Khwarizmi invents algebra, giving us the word algorithm from his very name even today. Ibn al-Haytham discovers principles of optics through experimentation, inventing the scientific method. Al-Razi writes medical texts diagnosing measles and smallpox that Europe will use for centuries. While Europe stumbles through Dark Ages burning books, the Islamic world blazes with brilliant light. But light attracts enemies, and the brightest flames draw the darkest moths from the Asian steppes. The Mongols arrive in 1258 like the wrath of God made flesh, an unstoppable horde from the east. Hulagu Khan brings 200,000 warriors armed with siege engines and pure brutality. They surround Baghdad and demand surrender, but the Caliph al-Mustasim refuses their ultimatum. He believes God will protect the holiest city in Islam from any foreign conquest or destruction. It is the worst decision in Islamic history, sealing the fate of 1 million souls in the city. The Mongols breach the walls on February 10th and unleash a massacre lasting 40 days and nights. They burn libraries and slaughter scholars in the streets where they taught for generations. They throw so many books into the Tigris the river runs black with ink for weeks afterward. Then it runs red with blood as over 100,000 people die in the massacre. The House of Wisdom burns its irreplaceable manuscripts, turned to ash and smoke, forever lost. The Golden Age ends in ashes and screaming in the stench of rotting bodies and burning cedar. The caliphate that ruled for 5 centuries is erased in a week of unimaginable horror. But the Islamic world is too vast, too deep, too resilient to die in one burning city alone. Cairo rises as the new center of Islamic civilization, defiant and determined to preserve the faith. The Mamluks build an empire from Egypt to Syria, former slaves who became the greatest warriors. They stopped the Mongols at Ain Jalut in 1260, the first time anyone has defeated them in battle. They save what remains of Islamic civilization from total annihilation at Mongol hands. To the east, Persia rebuilds under the Ilkhanate, eventually converting Mongol rulers to Islam. To the west, Al-Andalus shines in southern Spain as a kingdom of tolerance and learning. The Islamic world fractures into competing powers, but each fragment burns bright with its own glory. Then comes the empire that will unite them again under a single banner flying over continents. The Ottomans emerge from Anatolia in the 1300s, a small Turkish clan among many competitors. But they are small and hungry and utterly relentless, never accepting defeat as final. They take Bursa in 1326, making it their first capital, then Edirne in 1369, moving closer still. Then they set eyes on the city every Muslim ruler dreamed of since the first conquests. Constantinople, the queen of cities, and the greatest fortress in the Christian world, still standing. The city has stood 1,000 years, its massive walls repelling siege after siege. The last remnant of Rome holding out on a peninsula between 2 seas. In 1453, Sultan Mehmed II brings 80,000 men and the largest cannons ever built to its walls. Bronze monsters fire stone balls weighing over half a ton, smashing the ancient fortifications. For 53 days, the walls shake under constant bombardment from dawn until dark. The Byzantines fight with desperate courage, knowing this is their final stand against the tide. On May 29th, just before dawn, the Ottomans storm the breaches from 3 directions at once. The fighting is brutal, hand-to-hand combat in the rubble of broken fortifications and bodies. By noon, Emperor Constantine V dies fighting on the ramparts beside his men's sword in hand. By sunset, the greatest city in Christendom belongs to Islam after 1,000 years of resistance. The Ottomans rename it Istanbul and make it capital of an empire dominating 3 continents. Mosques rise where churches stood, and the great Hagia Sophia becomes a mosque. At their peak in the 1500s under Suleiman, they rule from Vienna to the Persian Gulf, from Algeria to the Caucasus, from Budapest to Baghdad. The crescent banner flies over vast territories. Suleiman builds mosques that still stand as architectural marvels and writes laws that still inspire. But empires age like men, slowly at first, then all at once, in a cascade of defeats. By the 1700s, the Ottomans are losing wars they once won easily. Their armies outdated and slow. Russia takes Crimea in 1783, driving Muslims from lands they had held for centuries. Austria takes Hungary, pushing the border back from Vienna. European powers carve pieces from the edges like vultures. The Islamic world, once most advanced on earth, finds itself overtaken by nations it dismissed. The 19th century brings humiliation after humiliation, defeat after defeat at European hands. Napoleon invades Egypt in 1798 and defeats the legendary Mamluks in a single afternoon. The British take India in 1857, destroying the Mughal Empire that had ruled for 3 centuries. The French colonize Algeria, then Morocco and Tunisia, bringing European rule to North Africa. The Dutch take Indonesia home to the world's largest Muslim population under colonial rule. The Russians swallow Central Asia as Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan fall like dominoes. Muslim lands that ruled themselves for 1,000 years now fall under foreign boots. The Ottoman Empire clings to life, mocked by Europeans as the sick man of Europe. Then comes the war that will kill it and reshape the entire Middle East forever. World War I tears the Ottomans apart as they fight alongside Germany, gambling everything. They lose everything, and diplomats meet in secret drawing lines on maps. Sykes and Picot create borders, ignoring tribes, sects, and centuries of history. Iraq, Syria, Jordan, Lebanon nations invented in Paris by men who never walked them. Palestine becomes a mandate, and Zionism plants roots in soil that will bleed for a century. The conflicts born here will echo through generations, never fully resolved. The Sultan signs away his empire in 1922, ending 600 years of Ottoman rule. The Caliphate is abolished in 1924 by Ataturk, ending an institution that existed since Muhammad died. For the first time in 1,300 years, there is no caliph to lead the faithful. The Islamic world is shattered into dozens of weak states ruled by kings, installed by Europeans. But the spirit refuses to break, refuses to accept permanent subjugation and foreign control. Independence movements rise across the colonized world, demanding freedom from European powers. Egypt gains independence in 1922, though Britain keeps troops there decades to protect Suez. Iraq becomes independent in 1932, and Syria-Lebanon throw off French rule after World War II. Pakistan splits from India in 1947, creating a Muslim state from nothing in rivers of blood. Indonesia declares independence from Netherlands and fights a brutal war to keep it. Oil is discovered beneath Arabian deserts in the 1930s, black gold that will shift power back east. Saudi Arabia becomes wealthy overnight from the oil flowing beneath the sand. The Gulf states transform from poor fishing villages to glittering cities of glass and steel. The 20th century becomes a struggle for identity, a battle between competing visions of the future. Modernists want secular states while Islamists want to return to the caliphate. Nationalists want strong Arab nations to rival the West, but none of these visions fully wins. The Iranian Revolution erupts in 1979, overthrowing the Shah, proving religion can shake thrones. Khomeini returns from exile and establishes an Islamic republic that terrifies the West. The Soviet invasion of Afghanistan in 1979 turns that country into a graveyard for empires again. Mujahideen fighters bleed the Red Army for a decade until withdrawal. The Gulf Wars bring American armies to the Islamic world in 1991 and 2003. Iraq is invaded, occupied, and torn apart by sectarian violence, killing hundreds of thousands. September 11, 2001 changes everything, ushering in an age of suspicion and war. The war on terror spreads across a dozen countries like wildfire, consuming everything. Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, Yemen, Libya, Somalia. The names pile up like bodies in mass graves. The Arab Spring blooms in 2011 with hope and young voices demanding change from dictators. Dictators fall in Tunisia, Egypt, Libya, and for a moment, democracy seems possible across the region. Then it withers into civil war and dictatorship worse than what came before. Syria tears itself apart in conflict, killing 500,000 people and displacing millions more. Refugees flood across borders, millions fleeing to Turkey, Lebanon, Europe, anywhere but home. Ancient cities like Aleppo, standing 4,000 years, turn to rubble in just a few years. But through it all, the call to prayer echoes 5 times a day across the Islamic world. From the smallest village to the largest megacity, the faithful still turn toward Mecca. Today, nearly 2 billion Muslims live across every continent on Earth, 1/4 of humanity. From Jakarta to Casablanca, London, to Kuala Lumpur, Detroit, to Dubai, Islam is everywhere now. The Islamic world is not one place, but 1,000 cultures speaking 100 languages. Endless interpretations of a faith born in a cave 1,400 years ago. Sunni and Shia Sufi mystics, and Salafi Puritans, liberal reformers, and strict traditionalists. Women in hijabs and women in burkinis and women in business suits leading companies and nations. The caliphate is gone, abolished a century ago, and the empires are dust, their palaces museums. But the civilization endures, adapts, survives against every prediction of its demise. Broken, divided, struggling with modernity and identity, and 100 internal conflicts daily, but absolutely defiantly, undeniably, alive and growing stronger in places across the globe. Like and subscribe, because the next chapter of this story is being written right now.